Shalom. For the last bread, we got all the leaven out of our heart, right? And Salakia, we got all the leaven out of our house, right? As you're supposed to do for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We just enjoyed a beautiful Passover, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread is coming to a close tonight, right? Brothers, we haven't been eating anything with leaven in it. We've been eating amazing leavened bread. You can put a little cinnamon in it, a little honey, some brown sugar, right? That's what we've been doing for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So we're going to come to a close. It's coming to a close tonight. We're going to open up the Feast of Unleavened Bread with the blowing of the shofar. Right, Officer Shariwan, please, Madam, Officer Shariwan, state your registry.
Officer Shariwan Ban Yamyan Ban Yasharala. Barak Yahba Shim Yashai Barakatha.
Officer Shariwan Ban Yamyan Ban Yasharala. Yahaba Sham Yashai Barakatha. You may Yadamata. Right? We're going to offer drink set offering La Yasha'ala, which means to Israel. Officer Shariwan, you may be seated. Right, so we're going to start Salakia. We're going to start with the Lord's prayers, as we open up these feasts, as we bring it close to this feast day. Salakia. Imagine, which means to stand, turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer. I'm going to read them in English. And Officer Shariwan, do you have the prayers with you?
Come.
Come. We're going to read them in English. And Salaki, I'm going to read them in the Hebrew. Officer Shariwan is going to read them in the English. This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayam,
Bashmayam,
Kudash,
Kadash,
Hayat,
Haya,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Malakwaka,
Lakwatka,
Taba'ah,
Taba'a,
Ratizaka,
Ratazaka,
Hayat,
Haya,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Baratizah,
Barataza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Hayat,
Haya,
Bashamayam,
Bashmayam,
Ithanawa,
Lathan Lanawa,
Lakam,
Lakam,
Kav,
Kal,
Yawan,
Yawam,
Wasalak Nawa,
Wasalak Lanawa,
Kabwath Nawa,
Kabwath now,
Kasalak Nawa,
Gasalak now,
Kabwath Nawa,
Kabwath now,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Tabaya Nawa,
Tabayana,
Banasayawan,
Manasai one,
Abal,
Ball,
Hawashai Nawa,
Roshai now,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Lakah,
Baka,
Hamalakwa,
Malakwa,
Wahala,
Wahala,
Wahatha Parat,
Wahatha Para,
La'ai Walamyam,
La'ai Walamim,
Aman,
Aman. In English, our Father which art in heaven,
our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name,
hallowed be thy name,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done in earth,
thy will be done in earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
Lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
Thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever so be it.
forever so be it. We're going to say the prayer for the power structure. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatha Yahweh,
why, Salakia, why Yahweh Shai,
Why Yahweh Shai,
why Mayak Ka'ala,
Wamayaka Allah,
Salakia, why Alahayim,
Wa Alahayim,
Matazabya, Ya'ah,
Matazbiyah,
Salakia, Alawap Yahanna,
Alawap Yahanna,
Ha Alawapyam,
Ha Alawapim,
Ha Saranyam,
Ha Saranyam,
Ha Kwatazanyam,
Ha Kwatazanyam,
Ha Kaya Yam,
Ha Ka'a Yalyan,
Ha Akwatyam,
Wa Akwakim,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Hasham Yahushai Tawada Aman.
Hashem Yahushai Thawada Aman. In English, bless you Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Yahushai,
and Michael,
and Michael,
and the angels,
and the angels,
commanding honor,
Okay. And General Yohana,
the generals,
the generals,
the captains,
the captains,
the officers,
the officers,
the troopers,
the troopers,
and the sisters.
and the sisters.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua,
Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua,
thank you, so be it.
thank you, so be it. We're going to say the prayer for power. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua,
Yah Bashim Yahushua,
Ba'akashal, Lathananawa,
Baba Kashal and Thumlanal,
Haka,
Haka,
Larapa'ah,
Lara Pa'ah,
Ka Makala,
Kal Maka'a La,
Wakal Madawa,
Wakal Madawa,
Haka Latahar,
Hakal Atahar,
Ha Matazarayan,
Ha Matazarayan,
Haka
Haka,
Lahar Kwayam,
Lahar Kwayam,
Hamathayam,
Hamathayam,
Haka
Haka,
Arakawa,
Al Rakawa,
Hatama'ala,
Atama'ala,
Lagarshan,
Lagarshan,
Ba'ashem Yahushai, Thawada Aman.
Bashem Yahushua Thawada Aman, in English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua,
Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai,
please give us the power
please give us the power
to heal
to heal
all manner of sickness,
all manner of sickness,
all manner of disease,
all manner of disease,
the power to cleanse the lepers,
the power to cleanse the leper,
the power to raise the dead,
power to raise the dead,
the power against unclean spirits,
the power against unclean spirits,
to cast them out
to cast them out,
in the name of Yahushua.
in the name of Yahushua.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. We're going to read Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Al-Haharyam,
Al-Haharyam,
Ma'ayan,
Ma'ayan,
Yala'ah,
Yaba'ah,
Isaiah,
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 Ma'an,
Ma'an,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Shamayam,
Shamayam,
Wa'aratazah,
Wa'aratazah,
Al-Yathan,
Al-Yathan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Regalka,
Regalka,
Al-Yanawam,
Al-Yanawam,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yayashan,
Yayashan,
Shalmar,
Shalmar,
Yasharala,
Yasharala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tizalka,
Tazalka,
Al-Yad,
Al-Yad,
Yanyanka,
Yamyanka,
Yalman,
Yawamam,
Hashemash,
Mashamash,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarak,
Wairak,
Balayala,
Bala Yalah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Yashamarka,
Makara,
Makorai,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Athnapashka,
Athnapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Tazaathka,
Tazaathka,
Wabawaka,
Waba Wa'aka,
Ma'aitha,
Ma'aitha,
Wa'ai, Iwalam,
Wa'aid I will In English, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out,
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in,
and thy coming in
from this time forth,
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore. Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are ye, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and earth,
and all things living.
and all things in it.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai,
listen to us now,
listen to us now,
right now.
right now.
Send evils and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishments,
and punishments,
and destruction,
and destruction,
and death
and death
to the heathen
to the heathen
that speak against us,
that speak against us,
thy prophets, the teachers,
thy prophets, the teachers,
the princes, the priests,
the priests,
the Israelite brothers,
the Israelite brothers,
and the school.
and the school.
Send evil and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishments and destruction and death
and punishments and destruction and death
to the heathen,
to the heathen,
and shake loose the pockets of the rich
and shake loose the pockets of the rich
of Israel
of Israel
that refuse to give to the school.
that refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force thy riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses,
Send evils and curses,
and punishment and destruction,
and punishment and destruction,
and death to the Edomites,
and death to the Edomites,
and the nations,
and the nations,
and their drug dealers,
and their drug dealers,
the court system,
the court system,
the prison system,
the prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the governments
all the governments
of our enemies,
of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues,
out of thy synagogues
and armies,
and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
the Roman Catholic Church,
the Pope,
the Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
the Aryan Nation,
skinheads,
skinheads,
Posse Comitatus,
Posse Comitatus,
the gay movement,
the gay movement,
the lesbian movement,
the lesbian movement,
spies,
pride,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines,
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines,
Wall Street.
Wall Street,
Open up the internet
open up the internet
and the airways,
and the airways,
the cable access channels,
the cable access channels,
the radio channels.
the radio channels,
Convicted spirit
convicted spirit
of any of thy people
of any of thy people
that seek to stop us
that seek to stop us
and bring swift death to all
and bring swift death to all
the heathen that stand in the way
the heathen that stand in the way
or try to stop us
that try to stop us
from broadcasting your words
from broadcasting your words
throughout the planet.
throughout the planet.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go
Cause them to go
to and fro
to and fro
to the earth and destroy.
to the earth and destroy.
Cause the plagues
Cause the plagues
to come against America
to come against America
and destroy them
and destroy them
in their strongholds.
in their strongholds.
Let America shake at the hands of
Let America shake at the hand of
the plagues.
plague.
Let Yahushua,
Let Yahweh,
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and Gabriel
come down with flying saucers
come down with flying saucers
and kill all the heathens
and kill all the heathen
that come up against us
that come up against us
as we speak thy word.
as we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known
Cause it to be known
by all that is the angels
by all the angels
that have done it.
that have done it.
Cause it to be spread
Cause it to be spread
through the media
through the media
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahweh,
thank you always.
thank you always.
So be it.
So be it.
Men of Israel, sir, you may be seated. All right, so we are in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We're closing it out. We're going to read in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. It's going to be a lot of reading. And then we're going to close out this feast. All right, so I'm going to read 7 verses in the English. We're going to read 7 verses. I'm going to read 7 verses in the Hebrew. Then we're going to read 7 verses in the English and break it down and continue until we've read Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Right? So, Leviticus 23, verse 1. Wayah Dabar, Yahweh, Al, Mashah, La Amar, verse 2. Dabar, Al, Banayah, Yashar, Yashar Allah. Salakia. Wa'amar, Wa'amar, Ra, Alaham, Mawa, Ayah. Salakia. Mawa, Ayah, Yahweh, Ashar, Taqwa, Rawa, Atham, Salakia. Makwa, Ra, Ayah, Kodash, Allah, Allah, Ham, Mawa, Ayah, verse 3. Shasa, Yam Yam, the I-Sha, Mala'a, Ma, Uba, Ya, Wan, Hasha, Hashab, Ya, Shabbat, Shabbat, Yan, Makwa, Ra'ah, Kodash, Ma, Mala, A, Ma, La, the I, Sha, the I, Shawa, Shabbat, Hawa'a, La, Yahweh, Ba, Bama, Mawa, Shabbat, Ya, Yam, Ma. Salakia, verse 4. Allah, Mawa, Ya, Yahweh, Makwa, Ra'a, Ya, Kodash, Ashad, Taqwa, Ra'a, Wa, Atham, Bama, Wa, Dam. Verse 5. Ka, Dash, Ra'a, Shawan, Ba'a, Ra, Iha, Ishad, Ka, Dash, Bayan, Rabba, Yam, Hasak, Pasak, La Yahweh. Verse 6. Baba, Khan, Shah, Ishad, Yawam, Baka, Dash, Za, Ka, Kal, Amataza, Wa, La Yahweh, Shabbat, I, Yam, Mataza, Wa, the Mawa. Verse 7. Baya, Yam, Ra'a, the one, Makwa, Ra'a, Kodash, Yaha, Lama, Ma, Mala'a, Ma, Ibada, Ra'a, the Sha. That's the end of verse 7. Now we're going to read in the English, Leviticus 23, verse 1 to 7.
Come. Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
Right. So Yahweh said to Moses, these are my feast days. Meaning, don't celebrate Christmas, your birthday, what's coming up next, Victoria Day, and any stinking holiday, unholy day that the Edomites tell you to celebrate. Read.
Verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, and holy convocation.
Right. Hold that right there. So 6 days you should work, right? And on the 7th day, it's supposed to be a day of rest, meaning you can't tell your servant to come into work. You can't say, I own a business and I'm telling people to come into work. right? This is the day that you're supposed to rest. You can do whatever you want on that day except work and tell your servants to come to work. If you want to work out, if you want to cook a fancy meal, go for it. But you can't tell anybody to kindle any fire and do work for you. It's a day of rest. When we're in the kingdom, like we're not gonna have to worry about an employer telling us to work on a Saturday. In our slavery, your employer is going to tell you to work on a Saturday or you can't eat. Read.
Ye shall do no work therein. It is a
Read.
Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
Come on, go ahead.
Verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
Right. So these are the feasts of the Lord. The Lord has specific feast days. And if you read it and you see what we just read and you heard what we just read, it didn't say Christmas, right? But it's going to run down the feast of the Lord. And these are holy convocations. These are separate gatherings. Read.
Verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
Right. So in the 14th day of the first month, right? A Christian will tell you that the beginning of the month is January, but then they turn around and they don't celebrate Passover. They'll celebrate Easter, which is a faster translation for Pesach, which is Passover, right? They don't celebrate Passover. The Passover, which was last week, is the beginning of first month, right? The first of the year is in the spring, not in the dead of winter. It's backwards to think that something is alive in winter and is going to grow. Nature will tell you that nothing grows in the winter. Winter is when it's dead. Read.
Verse 6. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord.
Is a feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. And that's what we're going into right now. If I could just show you, this is the unleavened bread, right? And it is, oh my, it is sweet. Like you
Right.
haven't had bread until you've eaten that unleavened bread, man. And good night. Like my stomach be, I can't wait. As soon as this camera goes off, Salakia, if I may, this whole plate of unleavened bread is gone. It's gone. It's going away. You're not going to see it. Okay, it's done. Good night. Right? Read.
Come. 7 days he must eat unleavened bread.
7 days you must eat unleavened bread. And we started eating unleavened bread last Sunday night, and now the feast of unleavened bread is over, right? It's coming to a close right now as the sun's going down. And you can go back to eating your double cheeseburgers with no bacon, right? You can get back to the leaven, right? And make cakes and cupcakes and all the cookies and snacks that you want, right? But for the last 7 days, we haven't eaten unleavened bread, right? Read.
Verse 7. On the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Right. When we were running out of Egypt, we made this unleavened bread because we had to get out of there quick, right? And in that first day, it was a holy gathering. If you had a lamb and only had two people in your household, you would share that lamb with your brother. You would show your brothers and your sisters brotherhood and sisterhood, and we would gather together. And blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, one thing we know how to do is gather together,
Right.
right? And we don't do any servile work therein, right? Officer Shaywan, you have the Hebrew in front of you?
Come, sir.
Khan, the water. I'm gonna get you to read the rest of the Hebrew with the Shah, and if it's like it's too much, we could just switch in and out. Well, you'll take
Come.
seven, and I'll take seven. All right.
Salakis. We have Officer Urad in the waiting
Khan,
room.
I see it right now.
Come, sir.
Right, Officer Shaywan, I imagine. Officer Murad, I imagine. Officer Shayuan, state your registry, then salute.
Officer Shariwan, Ban
Salakia,
Banyakan.
Salakia, Salakia, Salakia. Officer Urad.
Come.
Officer Yerad, Bond 701, Yasharala, Bond Yasharala.
Khan. Officer Shayuan, Ban Zabala 1, Ban Yasher Allah. Officer Shayuan, Officer Urad, salute.
Yahweh Hashem Yashem
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Yad Yamatah. Men of Israel, you may be seated. Officer Shayuan, Baba Kashah, can you read in the Hebrew Leviticus 8, Salakia, Leviticus 23, verse 8 to verse 14?
Come. Leviticus 23 and verse 8 in the Hebrew. Waha Kwara Batham Asha La Yahweh Shabayath Yama Yam Bayawam Asha Baya Aya Makwa Ra'a Kwadash Ma Mala Amath Ibada La'a Fa'ai Shawa. Verse 9. Wa Dabar Yahweh Al Mashah La Amar. Verse 10. Dabar Al Benaya Yashar Yashar Allah Wa Amarath Alaham Maya Thaba Awa Al Harataza Ashar Anaya Nathan Lamam Wakwatazara Tham Ath Kwataza Yara Waha Ba'atham Ath Aymar Ra'ashaya Kwataza Yaramam Al Hamahan. Verse 11. Waha Naya Ath Ha'aymar Lapanya Yahweh Larataza Namam Mama Karath Hashabath Yana Yapan Nawa Hamahan. Verse 12. Wa'ai Shayatham Bayawam Han Yapa Slaki Yapa Mama Ath Ha'aymar Mabash, Thamayam, Ban, Shanathawa, Lai, Laha, Layaha, Salakia, Layahawaha, verse
Salakia,
2.
La Yahweh.
Salakia, La Yahweh, verse 13. Wama Nakathwa, Manaya, Aisha Ranayam, Salah, Bala Wala, Bashaman, Asha, La Yahweh, Rayak, Nayak, Nana, Slakia, Nayakak, Wana Sama, Yayan, Rabba Ya'ai, Aitha, Ha Hayan, verse 14. Walakam, Wakwa Laya, Wama Ramal, All, Tha'a Malawa, Aid, Tazam, Yahweh, Salakia, Haya Sham, Salakia, Haya Wam, Hazaha, Aid, Haba Ya'amam, Ath, Quaraban, Alahayam Mam, Quaquath, Iwalam, Lada Ratha Yamam, Bamal, Masha Batha Yamam. That's the end of verse 14.
Officer Uriah, can you read verse 8 to verse 17, to verse 14 in the English, Leviticus 23? Salakia, you're on mute.
Salaki. What was the, can you repeat the chapter and verse? Baba Shah?
Can you read Leviticus 23, verse 8 to verse 14?
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 8. And it reads, But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. In the seventh day is a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. Verse
Right.
9.
So you're going to feast for 7 days. Offering made by fire is a feast. Right? You're going to feast for 7 days. If you can get the day off on the seventh day, You should, right? Read.
Verse 9. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest.
Right. So what we have next coming up, the next holy convocation is the Feast of First Fruits, right? Now, the Feast of the First Fruits is you would give the feast, you would give a good portion of your first fruits to the priest, right? The priest, they didn't have any inheritance. They didn't have land. The Levites, there was no land in Levites. The Levites, they were in everybody's land, in all 12 tribes' land, right? And the people, it would be up to the people to take care of the priest, right? That's why you have the showbread. The showbread would be on the Sabbath table to let everyone know that the priests are being taken care of. Because if the people didn't take care of the priest would starve. Read.
Verse 11. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow, after the Shabbat, the Sabbath, the priest shall have the priest shall wave it.
Right? So the priest would take the first fruits that he offered, he would lift them up and he would wave them in front of the congregation so the Lord could see them. Right? Read.
Verse 12, it reads, And ye shall offer that day when you wave the sheaf a he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto the Lord.
Right. So you would have to sacrifice your best lamb without blemish, right? Because you're giving something up. You're sacrificing something. That means that lamb, it couldn't be a lamb that was sick, that was broken, that had any type of blemish. It couldn't be a lamb with one eye, a humpback. It had to be your best, right? A precept for this is just go back to the garden when Abel and Cain were offering up to the Lord. Abel offered his best. He offered a lamb, right? A lamb to get was a lamb is something hard to get and maintain, right? If you take care of lambs. Cain, he just wanted to offer something very simple, like fruits, right? So you gotta offer your best to the Lord, right? In these times, we're not making sacrifices for sins, right? So what you do is you offer yourself to the Lord for yourself to do His work. Read.
Verse 13, it reads, And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of the fine flour, mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the fourth part of a hin.
Right? So you had to season your food. You had to make it sweet for the priest, right? You just didn't want to just make food and it has no flavor, right? They wanted to be something smelling sweet. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we all know how to cook and we all know how to make that food smell good and taste really good, right? Christians will tell you that you are not allowed to drink, right? But they don't understand that you can drink, but you can't be a drunkard, right? And a hin was a measurement, right? Like this could be a hin, like something that you measure your drink in. So you would pour a drink offering, take your drink, pour a drink offering for the priest, and that would be your drink offering. Read.
So verse 14, and it reads, And ye shall eat their Salakia, and ye shall eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears, until the self same day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
Right. So what you would do is you would offer, right? You wouldn't be able to eat bread or the parched corn, which is roasted corn, right? Until you have made that offering. Today we're not offering up we're not making sacrifices today. Christ was our sacrifice. If you're making sacrifices today, that is a slap in the face to our king, right? You don't make sacrifices for sin because Christ was our sacrifice, right? His sacrifice is good enough. Now you have to change. Today, what you do is you have to offer yourself to the Lord, right? You have to sacrifice all the nasty, disgusting lust that you have in your heart, right? Sacrifice all of it and do what the Lord wants you to do, right? Salakia. That was the end of verse 14?
Come on, sir.
Come. Right? So we're going to go back into the Hebrew. Officer Yerad, do you have the Hebrew in front of you?
Come on, sir.
Okay, we're going to switch it up eventually. But Officer Shayuan, can you read verses 15 to 21 in the Hebrew, Baruch Hashem?
Come. Wasapar, Thumb, Lamam, Mama Karath, Hashabah, Ma Yawam, Abba Ya'amam, Imar, Hatha Nawapa, Shabai, Shabathwa, Thama Yamatha, Tha Haya Yana. Verse 16. Id, Mamakar, Slakia, Mama Karatha, Hashabath, Asha, Ya, Aitha, Thasa Parawa, Kama, Shayam, Yawam, Waha, Mara, Batham, Mana, Kaha, Kadasha, La Ya, Slakia, La Yahweh. Verse 17. Mama Washa Batha Yamam Thaba Ya'awa Lakam Thana Wapa Shathayam Shanaya Aisha Ranayam Salath Thaha Yayana Kamataza Tha'a Paya Naha Bama Wara Yam La Yahweh. Verse 18. Wa Hakwa Rabatham Al Hala Kwam Shaba Aith Maba Shayam, Thama Yamam, Banaya, Shana, Wapar, Ban, Bakwar, Akkad, Wa'a Yalam, Shana Yam, Yaha Yawa, Ilah, La Yahweh, Wama Naka Tham, Wana Sama Yaham, Asha, Rayak, Nayak Kak, La Yahweh. Verse 19. Wa'ai Shayatham, Sha'ai Yar, Aiza Yam, Akkad, Laka Ta'ath, Washanaya, Maba Shayam, Banaya, Shana, Laza Bak, Shalom Yam. Verse 20. Waha Nayap, Hama Han, Atham, Al, Lakam, Haba Mara Yam, Thana Wapa, Lapanya, Yahweh, Al, Shanaya, Maba Shayam, Quadash, Yaha Yawa, La Yahweh, Lama Han. Verse 21. Wakwa Ra'atham, Ba'ai Tazam, Hayawam, Hazah, Makwa Ra'a, Quadash, Yaha, Lamam, Mal, Malah, Amath, I Bada, La'a, Tha'ai Shawa, Kakwath, I Walam, Bamal, Mawa Shabath, Yamam, Lada Ratha Yamam. That's the end of verse 21.
Con, for what, Ak? All right. So we just read Leviticus 23:14 to 21 in the Hebrew. Now we're going to read 14 to 21 in the English. Officer Yerad, can you read 14 to 21 in the English?
Khan. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, and verse 15.
Con, verse 15 to 21 in the English. Salakia.
No, sir. And it reads, and you shall count unto you for the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be completed. Verse 16. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Verse 17. Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baked with leaven. They are the first fruits of the Lord.
Right. Hold that right there. Right. So after today, today we're gonna count 50 days. Right. We're gonna count 50 days, and then we're gonna have the feast of first fruits. Last year we had the feast of first fruits, and it was really good brotherhood and sisterhood. Right. We're gonna have the feast of first fruits. The feast of first fruits is going to be June 21st, right? So June 21st, we're gonna have the Feast of First Fruits, right? And this is we're gonna have a feast. It's gonna be a wave offering for the Lord, right? This is gonna be tradition that we celebrated since we were in Israel, right? And if we were in our kingdom, we would be offering first fruits and giving them to the priests to make sure the priests having are taken care of, right? And the priests, they would also take care of the sick and the poor, the widowed and the father and motherless, right? Now, you'll have Christians who say, "Why aren't tithes coming to me?" Right? They'll say, "Well, tithes are fruits." Well, then, damn Negro, bring those fruits to the priest. You should be bringing something. If it's fruits, bring the fruits to the priest. We'll sell those fruits and take care of the sick and the poor like we've always done because that's what we do. We care about our people, right? You gotta be all the way in. You can't be halfway in. You gotta have both feet in, right? And we're going to take those fruits or your tithe that you pay the commanding general YAHANNA, and we're going to give it away to our people. That's what we do. We have food drives and we give away tithes, right? There are brothers and sisters who have people in their homes, and they're finding homes for brothers and sisters who are poor because they are priests and prophets of the Lord, and that's what they do. It's not about how much money you can make, right? There's people out there that just want to boast and talk about how much money they're making, and they don't want to give anything away. They want to keep it and keep the greed and the lust and all the unleavened in their heart.
Right.
Read.
Come, sir. Verse 18. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet Savior unto the Lord.
Right. So you're gonna offer these lambs and these bullocks onto the. We're gonna have a feast with them. We're gonna use them to feed our people, to feed the poor. Right. Now, a Christian is going to tell you that you cannot cook on the Sabbath. Right. Read that last part again, Bob Kushal.
Come on, sir. They shall be
From,
for a burnt. Like,
read from and their drink offerings.
come on, sir. And their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet Savior unto the Lord.
Right. So right there it's telling you you can cook on the Sabbath. Right. Christians don't believe they can cook on the Sabbath because they don't understand this Bible. All they want to do is use this Bible to hurt their people. They want power that they have no idea what to do with. They don't deserve power, right? If you want some type of power, you got to come in the I.S.U.P.K, right? And we'll determine if you know what to do with rank. We'll determine if you know what to do with power, right? And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a sweet offering made by fire, right? It's gonna be for sweet Savior unto the Lord. We're gonna have a feast. We're gonna take care of our people, right? It's just like Salakia. Like when we're in our kingdom, there would always be poor. That's why the Lord told us not to glean the corners of our crop, right? Right? And not to pick up whatever fell on the floor, right? And so the poor can eat, right? If you did pick up what was on the floor, you would leave it in a basket so the poor could come and take it, so they could take what they need. Because there's always going to be poor among us, right? But it's up to the rich of us to take care of the poor. Read.
Right. Go on, sir. Verse 19. Then ye shall sacrifice one kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. Verse 20.
Right? Hold up. Right there. Right? So again, you would take these offerings and you would give them to the priest, right? We're not offering anything for sin anymore. Ye be sinless. Go and be sinless. Just like Christ told the lady that was accused of being a whore, right? Go and sin no more. Christ died for you. Someone took a spear and stabbed him, right? And they hung him on the tree like they did every black, Hispanic, and Native American, right? And he was murdered for us. You shouldn't be sinning anymore. What you should be doing is giving yourself up to the Lord, right? And that should be your sacrifice, right? What would happen is a rich man, a goat doesn't matter to a rich man. He has like 10,000 goats. What does one goat mean to him? He would have that goat ready to go because he knows he's about to sin. So he would have that goat ready. That doesn't mean anything to him, right? So what you have to do is you have to change. You have to change. That's how you sacrifice. You sacrifice your lust. If you want to sleep with your brother's wife, you sacrifice that urge of sleeping with your brother's wife and you don't do it. If you want to sell drugs, you don't do it. You don't care about what oppressor's shoes you can wear with red on the bottom of it, right? You sacrifice whatever evil you're thinking about doing to get those red bottom shoes, and that's how you sacrifice for your sins. Because you are not sinning no more, so you don't need to sacrifice your sin. Again, the Lord, He's not trying to kill you. He's trying to make sure that you're following Him. And unfortunately, a lot of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they end up dying. They end up being destroyed, right? Because they don't know how to stop sinning. They listen to their chiefs, they listen to their imams and their pastors, and every politician you could think of, and they end up dying. Read.
Gotcha. Verse 31. Like it. Verse 21. And it reads, and ye shall proclaim on the self-same day that it may be a holy covenant.
Salakia, did you read 20?
Like I say, sir.
Okay, read 20 one more time.
Sir. Verse 20. And it reads, and the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord. With the 2 lambs, they shall be holy to the Lord for the priest.
Right. So these lambs you would give to the priest, because again, the priests don't have inheritance. Their inheritance is whatever the people give them. Read 21.
Sir. Verse 21, and it reads, and ye shall proclaim on the self same day, that it may be holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations.
Right. So when these high holy days and these feast days and memorial days, you wouldn't do any servile work, right? Your employer in the kingdom, he would be an Israelite just like you, and he would know the law. He would know that you're not going to be working that day. Nobody in the kingdom is going to be working that day. The kingdom is shut down, and you're at a brother's house celebrating these feast days, high holy days, and memorial days, right? Salakia. Officer, you're right. Do you have the Hebrew in front of you?
Come, sir.
Con. You're going to read in the Hebrew Leviticus 23, 22 to 28.
Come, sir.
Baruch Shah.
In the verse. No, sir. There's the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 22, in the Hebrew. Waraka Tasara Wam.
Mom.
Ata. Katasayar. So like Ra Tasa Wam.
Mom. That's the ma and the ma. Mom. Salakia.
Oh, select. Mom. Lat. Ta wa select. Ta ma laha. Ka ta.
Salakia. Pa'at. The and the tha is at. Unless you put a ha in it, then it becomes pa'at. Pa'ta. Pa'ta. But it's
Ka ta.
pa'at.
Select. Ka ta. Shadam. Like it. Like it. Bakat Tasa Ram. Bakat Tasa Ram. Like it. Wala Kat Ta Katasayara. Katasayara Ma.
Is Salakia. Quatazar Yeram.
Katasayara Ram. La. Talakata. Laayan. Laay na ya. Wala Salakia. Salakia.
God.
Yeah, I just lost where I was selected. Selected, sir. Just lost where I was selected.
You are in verse 23. No, Salakia, you're in verse 22. You're at Wallah God.
Verse 22.
Under the 22 is the third word. Just above the 24. If you're reading it off the
Okay.
the Hebrew that we have.
Gotcha. Wallah gar. I Zaga. Saiba.
Zah. Remember to put the last two together.
Laksu.
Just remember to put the last two together. Right? So the next one, you will see the ah, the tha, and the ma. That will be a thumb.
Laksu. A thumb. Anaya. Yahweh. Allah Yamam. Verse 23. Waya da bar. Yahweh. Allah Mashaha la Amar, verse 24. Slakia. Verse 24. It reads, the bar, Allah, Banya, Yasharala, La Mar, Bahadash, Hashaba, Ya, Ba, Salakia, Bakad, Laha, Dash.
Salakia, that's a ka.
Oh, Salakia. Laka Dash. Yaha, Lamam. Shabata, one. Samar, one. Thar, Ha. Mankara'a, Kadash, verse 25. Mala amta, Lakia, Abadaha, La'a, Ta'ai, Shawa, Wahakar, Batham, Ashaha. La Yahawa. Salakia. La Yahawa. Verse 26. Wayaha. Salakia. Wa Yada Bar. Yahawaha. Allah.
Yahweh.
Salakia. Yahawa. Allah. Mashaha.
Mashah.
Salakia. Masha. La Mar. Verse 27. Amma. Ba'ai Shawar. Lakadash. Hashabayai. Salakia. Hashabayai. Ya. Hasaha. Hasaha. Salakia. Yawam. La Yaha. Salakia. La Yaha Waha. La Yawaha. Verse 26. Waya da bar. Yahweh. Allah. Mashaha.
Mashah.
Masha. Salakia. Masha. La'amar. Verse 27. Verse 27. Amma. By Shawar. Lakadash. Wahakar Batam. Asha. La Yahawa ya Salakia. La Yahawa. Verse 28. Wama, sorry, Salakia. Mala, Waha, Al, Ta'ai, Shamwa, by Tasam, Hayawam, Hasa, Maya, Yawam, Mapar Yam, Hawa'a, Lamapar. That's the end of the chapter. I don't want of Leviticus chapter 23.
Salakia. That was the end of verse 28.
Salaki, yeah, so that was the end of verse 28. Verses the last, yeah, at the end of the chapter, I believe.
What was the last word you read?
Salaki. Let me get to it here. One sec. Salaki. Chapter. The last word of verse 28 was Lamapar.
So Salakia, there's still you. I'll get it. I la yama lapan ya Yahweh alahai alahayam ma alahaya mam. Right. So that was Salakia. We read verse 22 to verse 28 in the Hebrew. Officer Shaw, you want? Can you read verse 22 to 28 in the English?
Salaki, sir.
Shalom,
Come,
shalom, aqua, kawapa. Yahweh Shema Alataba Hashem Yahushai. If you want for tuning in.
Salaki, officer.
Khan, I got that last part off. Officer Shah Yuan's going to read in the English now.
Khan, so I just had a question.
Khan,
What was the last word on verse 28?
the last word on verse 28 was Alahayam Ma. Alahaya Ma. That was the last word. Alahaya Ma.
Alahayama. Okay. So
Khan, we're going to continue reading. We got to get through some more of this.
sir. It's Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 22. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of the field when thou reapest, neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger.
Right. So like we were saying, when you're reaping the harvest of your field, you're not going to clean everything. Right. Our oppressors, what they do is they clean everything and they leave nothing. Right. We will show brotherhood to our sick and our poor and to our homeless. We would leave the corners, a border around our crop, so the poor and the sick can eat. Read.
I am Yahweh your power. Verse 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation.
Right. So we would have a memorial of blowing trumpets. Right. Most of our memorial days are times of our victories over the oppressors. Right. And that's what this memorial of blowing trumpets would be. It would be a memorial of blowing trumpets, right? Read.
Verse 25. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
Right. So here you have it again, an offering made by fire, right? That's letting you know on these Sabbath days there was fire burning, right? So again, the kindle no fire on the Sabbath day is you telling your servant to work. You cannot force your servant to work like the oppressor does us, right? Read.
Verse 26. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Also in the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you. And ye shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
Right. So this Day of Atonement, everybody in the school knows about this Day of Atonement, and it's creeping up fast on us, right? This Day of Atonement, it comes, it goes, and then it comes back real fast, and you spin around, and you're like, damn, it's the Salakia. You're like, it's the Day of Atonement again, right? You have to afflict your soul. For 24 hours, you're not going to eat. It's not like a Muslim fast. The Muslims think you fast from sun up to sundown. That is not a fast. And they run around and tell everybody that we're fasting. When we do our Day of Atonement, we act like it's a regular day. We go and brush our teeth, right? And we don't eat for 24 hours, right? From sundown one night to sundown the next night. For 24 hours, we don't eat. And that last 5 hours, it usually gets really hard. You're just waiting for it to end. But we don't tell anybody that we're fasting. You see a Muslim fasting, and they start giving away all their food. And they start telling you, I can't work right now and lift this stuff up at work because I'm fasting. We don't tell anybody. It's between us and the Lord. You use that day, and if you could afflict yourself without food and water for 24/7, that means you can give up any lust, any disgusting demon that you have that you're battling, because you gave up food for 24 hours, so you can give up anything, right? And that's what we do. And then when the sun goes down, we gather with our brothers and sisters, and we have a feast, right? We have a feast by fire, right? You gotta go have a little barbecue or something. The weather's gonna be nice, right? Read.
Verse 29. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in the same day.
Salakia. You read that was 28. You read.
Khan, sir.
Khan. Officer Shari 1, can you read in the Hebrew 30 to 35, Baba Kasha?
So is that 29 to 35?
Khan. 29 to 34.
Khan.
To 35, Baba Kasha. 35. In the Hebrew.
Khan.
Bear with us. If you're with us, we're going to be going a little longer. We'll probably be like another 20 minutes. Bear with us. If you can, grab something to eat. The sun's down. Finish up all the unleavened bread. As I said, as soon as this camera goes off, the unleavened bread that's in front of me, it's not going to be in front of me no more. It's going to be gone. Right? So eat up all of the unleavened bread that you have. We're closing out the feast of unleavened bread right now. So you can read 29 to 35, Kasha, in the Hebrew.
Khan, sir. This is Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 29 in the Hebrew. Maya.
No sweats.
Ma. Hanapash. Ashar. La'a. Tha'ai na'a. Slaki. Tha'ai naha. Ba'ai tazam. Hayawam. Azah. Wana mara aha. Ma'ai maya. Verse 30. Wamal. Hanapash. Ashar. Tha'ai sha'a. Ma. Mala ama. Ba'ai tazam. Hayawam. Hazah. Waha Abba Dathaya. Hanapash. Hahawaha. Makwa. Slakia. Makorab.
Right.
Aima. Verse 31. Ma. Mala Ama. La'a. Tha'ai Shawa. Kakwath. Walam. Lada Ratha Yamam. Bamal, Mashah Batha Yamam, verse 32. Shabbath, Shabbath one, Hawaha, Lamam, Wa'ai Nayatham, Ath, Napa Shatha Yamam, Batha Sha'aiha, Laka Dam Slakit, La Kadash, Ba'irab, Ma'irab, Id, Irab, Thashah Bathawa, Shabbat Thamam, verse 33. Wayah Dabar, Yahweh, Al, Mashah, Slaket, Mashah, La Amar, verse 34. Dabar, Al, Benaiah, Yashah Ra'al, La Amar, Baka Mashah, Aishar, Yawam, Lakad, Slaket, Lakadash, Hasha, Bayai, Slaket, Hasha, Bayah, Ayah, Hazah, Kaga, Hasa, Mawath, Shabah, Aitha, Yama, Yam, La, Yahweh, verse 35. Ba Yawam, Hara, Asha, Wan, Makwa, Ra'ah, Quadash, Mal, Mala, Amath, Aiba, Daha, La'ah, Tha'ai, Shawa. That's the end of verse 35.
Suarak. Officer Iraq.
Come on, sir.
Can you read Leviticus 23, verses 29 to 35, Brother Prashad?
Come on, sir. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, and verse 29. And it reads, For whatsoever soul it be, it shall not be afflicted in the same day. He shall be cut off from among his people.
Right. So right there, that was a cut to Old Testament only Israelites, right? Because they never celebrated atonements for some time in their younger days until they came into finding out that they're an Israelite and they only wanted to read the Old Testament. They should be cut off from their people, right? The only way they would have came back to their people is through Christ, right? So that's a cut right there for the Old Testament only Israelites, right? So you have to go through the Day of Atonement, right? Read.
Verse 30, and it reads, And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people.
Read.
Verse 31, and reads, Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever through all your generations, in all your dwellings.
Right. If you can get this day off, try to get it off. But we are in our slavery at the moment, and though it's coming to the end, you have to hope that you're Salakia. You basically have to beg an oppressor for the day off. And you know the oppressor, he doesn't care about letting us off for days. He wants to run it just like it's old Egypt, where we had to beg Pharaoh. Moses had to fight with Pharaoh, and the Lord had to send plagues for us to get 3 days off for them to let us go. Read.
God, sir. Verse 31. It's like verse 32. It reads, It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even, ye shall celebrate your Sabbath.
Right. So you're gonna fast from one night to the other night. Right? 24 hours of fasting, no water, no food. Don't look at your fridge. You gotta act like your fridge does not exist. Read. And Salakia, just like for brothers and sisters who are going through the Day of Atonement, right? You have a brotherhood and a sisterhood. If it's getting hard for you and you feel like you gotta eat, right? Call a brother, call a sister, call the man above you, right? Talk to them. They'll suffer with your brother and sister, right? You're not the only one going through it, right? And if you're weak at the moment, someone will give you strength. That's the greatest part of this school, the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, under Commanding General YAHANNA. We don't go through anything by ourselves. There's always a brother that you can call or a sister that you can call, right? Read.
So it reads, chapter, so like verse 33. It reads, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Lord.
Right. So the Feast of Tabernacles is when we dwelt in booths at one time. Right. Now you're not gonna go out into the wilderness and dwell in booths like Christians do, but you're going to remember what it was like for your people to dwell in the booths, right? For them to be wandering around in the wilderness, right? And we're gonna have this feasting so we remember what it was like for our peoples when they were walking around the desert for 40 years, trying to get the kingdom, hoping they would get the kingdom, praying to the Most High that they would come into the and take it over and kick out the heathens and make the land their own, right? That's the Feast of Tabernacles. You don't have to go into the wilderness like Christians do, like fake Israelites do, and set up booths and act like you're living in a booth, right? But when we have our kingdom, we're going to remember what it's like. We're gonna be rich in our kingdom. We're gonna have mansions upon mansions and acres of land. And just because you're rich doesn't mean that you don't remember what it was like the time when you were poor, the time when you had to sacrifice and you didn't know when you were gonna get the land. Read.
Verse 35, and it reads, On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You should do no servile work therein.
Right, because the first day will be a Sabbath. You're not gonna work. You're not gonna tell your servants to work, right? Even if you have a business, you're gonna know not to tell your servants to work, right? You're gonna know the law. If your employer is an Israelite, he's not gonna make you work because he knows the law, right? Right. So, Officer Shayuan, can you read 36 in the Hebrew, and you're gonna just finish up the chapter. It's 9 verses, but you're gonna finish up the chapter. 36 in the Hebrew until it's finished, and then we're gonna do a couple prayers, and we're gonna end the class.
Come, sir.
No sweat. And for all that's watching, come up the video, right? We're gonna drop the sign out link for you if you are trying to be in the school and you're trying to get your 90 days for your name. We're gonna drop the sign out link in a moment. I'll drop them in a moment, right? And the water for watching, come up the video, like and share and subscribe. Con, you could read it whenever you got it.
Con. It's Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 36 in the Hebrew. Shabbat I Yama Yam Thakwa Raya Bawa Asha La Yahweh Baya Slakia Bayawam Hasha Mayan Makwa Ra'ah Kwadash Yahweh Lamam Waha Kwara Batham Asha La Yahweh I Tazara Hawa'a Ma Mala Amath Aiba Daha La'a Tha'ai Shawa. Verse 37. Allah Mawa Aidaya Yahweh Ashar Thaqwa Ra'ah Slakia Thaqwa Ra'awa Atham Makwa Ra'aya Kwadash Laha Kwara Yaba Asha La Yahweh La Shama Naka Zabak Wana Sama Yam Dabar Yawam Ba Yamawa. Verse 38. Mala Bada Shabba Tha Yahweh Wama Labad Matha Nawa Thayamam Wama Labad Ma Nada Rayamam Wa Malabad Ma Nada Batha Yamam Ashar Slacker Ashar Thatha Nawa La Yahweh. Verse 39. Baka Masha Aishar Yawam Laka Dawa Slakia Laka Dasha Hasha Baya Aya Ba'a Sapa Mam Thaba Wa'a Ha'arataza. Slakia Ha'arataza Thaka Gawa Ath Ka Kaga Yahweh Shaba'ith Yam Bayawam Haba Shabba Thawan Waba Yawam Hasha Mayana Ya Shabba Thawan. Verse 40. Wala Kwaka Tham Lamam Bayawam Hara Asha Wan Para Paraya Aitaza Hadar Mapath Thama Rayam Wa Nap Aitaza Ibath Wa Rabaya Nakal Washa Makah Tham Lapanya Yahweh Allah Hayamam Shaba'ith Yamayam. Verse 41. Waka Gatham Atha Kag La Yahweh Shaba'ith Yamayam Bashana Kakwath Iwalam Lada Ratha Yamam Bakadash Hasha Bayaya Thaka Gawat Atha. Verse 42. Basamath Thasha Bawa Shaba'ith Yamayam Ma Ha Azara Baya Shara Allah Yashaba Basamath. Verse 43. La Ma'ain Yadai Iwa Da Rathayama Maya Basa Mawath Hawa Shaba Thaya Ath Banya Yasha Ra'al Baha Wa Taza Ya'aya Awatham Ma'arataza Ma Taza Rayam Anaya Yahweh Allahayamam. Verse 44. Waya Dabar Masha Ath, Ma'ai, the Yah, Yahweh, all, Banya, Yeshar, Ra'al. That's the end of Leviticus 23, sir.
Ka. Officer Urad, can you read Leviticus 23:36?
Here's the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 36. It reads, 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly, and you shall do no servile work therein.
Right. So for 7 days we're gonna feast, and on that seventh day we're gonna gather together and have a big feast. Right. And we're not gonna work, and we're not gonna tell our servants to work. Right, because it's a Sabbath. It's a holy convocation unto the Lord. Read.
Verse 37, it reads, These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering, and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon this day.
Read.
Verse 38, and it reads, Beside the Sabbath of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings, which ye give unto the Lord.
Right. So these are the Lord's high holy days, his memorial days. Right. There are Salakia. There's still Hanukkah and the feast of Purim for the Greek wars and the memorial of what a powerful sister Esther did, which aren't in the Leviticus 23rd chapter. But these are the days of the Lord, right? And notice we just read these days of the Lord, and none of them said Christmas, your birthday. None of them said Easter. None of them said New Year's or Victoria Day. No Valentine's Day. Read.
Verse 39, and it reads, Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
Read.
Verse 40, and it reads, And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook, and ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days.
Read.
Verse 41, and it reads, And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month.
Read.
Verse 42, Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths.
Read.
Verse 43, and
You
reads,
finish up the chapter.
Concert. Verse 43, and it reads, That your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Verse
Right.
44.
Hold up right there. We're going to remember how the Lord brought us out of Egypt, and we're going to remember how when he brought us out of Egypt, we wandered for 40 years in the desert, and we dwelt in booths, right? Even when we're rich in the kingdom and we have our servants, we're going to remember how we came out of hard bondage, right? Just like the hard bondage we're in right now. We're going to remember how we were in the hard bondage and how we had to dwell in booths. And if it wasn't for the Lord, we wouldn't be out of the hard bondage. Again, you got to give it up to the Lord. You got to do his works, right? Because there's no getting out of this slavery right now without his help. Read.
Sir. Verse 44, and it reads, and Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Lord. That's the end of the
Right.
word.
So these are the feasts of the Lord, right? Whatever your oppressor tells you to celebrate, you do the opposite. You celebrate these days. This is what you're supposed to celebrate, right? All these days, these high holy days. You're not going to learn how to celebrate them unless you're in this school, right? Because you have fake Israelites out there who will battle the men of the Lord and tell you that you can't celebrate the Passover, right? Well, when are you going to celebrate the Passover? Are you going to wait until you're in the kingdom to celebrate the Passover, right? How are you going to get the kingdom? You got to build the kingdom now, right? What we're doing right now is we're putting our brick in, right? We're letting the Lord know we're ready, right? We're waiting patiently. That's the patience of the saints. So we're going to keep celebrating these Passovers until we see that sky crack and we see Christ commanding 200 million angels, right? Because voting is not going to get you out of this slavery. Doing whatever the oppressor tells you is not going to get you out of this slavery. You take all your money and you go spend it from December 1st to December 31st, and that's not get you out of this oppression, right? That's only making you broke. Now think about all that money you spent on useless toys and useless gifts that nobody appreciates, right? And when you need rent, they're not there to help you. When your fridge is empty, they're not there to help you, right? But your fridge wouldn't be empty if you had that money in your pocket. So again, this is the I.S.U.P.K closing of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And oh my, just as I said, man, I'm going to dig into this unleavened bread and sip some wine and keep it and remember all the things that we had to do to get out of Egypt, right? So with that, Israel, Aquafian watching, I imagine, Ujinisian, Salakia. So Panya Hakudam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer, and we're going to end the class. Abinawa,
Abanawa,
Bashamayam,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kwadash,
Haya, Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh, Malakwaka,
Yahweh Malakwaka,
Saba'a, Ratazaka,
Taba'a Ratazaka,
Haya, Aisha,
Hayya Aisha,
Barataza, Kawa,
Barataza Kawa,
Haya, Bashamayam,
Hayya Bashamayim,
Lathalanawa, Lakam,
Nathan Lanawa Lakam,
Kal, Yawam,
Call Yawam,
Wasalaknawa, Kabwatnawa,
Wasalak Lanawa Kalbathna,
Kasalaknawa, Kabwatinawa,
Kasalak Nawa Kalbathna,
Wala'a, Sabayanawa,
Walaha Fabiyana,
Bonasaya 1, a ball.
Bonasaya 1, a ball.
Hawashinawa, Mayan.
Hawashinawa, Mayan.
Rai Kaya Laka.
Rai, Kaya, Laka.
Hamalakwa.
Hamalakwa.
Wahala.
Wahala.
Wahathapara.
Wahathapara.
La'ai Walamyam.
Lai Walamim.
Aman.
Aman. In English.
In English, Khan, you got it.
Khan. In English, our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done in earth,
thy will be done in earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us this day our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
Lead us not into temptation,
Lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
Thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever so be it.
forever so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew, Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Ahahariam,
Al-Haharim,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Yawa'ah,
Yaba'ah,
Isaiah,
Isaiah, Isaiah,
Ma'an,
Ma'an,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Asha,
Aisha,
Shamayam,
Shamayam,
Wa'aratazah,
Wa'aratazah,
Al-Yathan,
Al-Yathan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Ugalka,
Regalka,
Ayanawam,
Al-Yanawam,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Hana La'ah,
Hana La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yaishan,
Yayashan,
Shalmar,
Shalmar,
Yasha'ala,
Yasharal,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazalka,
Ayat,
Al-Yad,
Yanyanka,
Yamyanka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Hashamash,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wairak,
Iraq,
Balayala,
Bala Ya'ala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Yashamarka,
Makarat,
Makal Rai,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Athnapashka,
Afnapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Tazaatka,
Tazaatka,
Wabawa'aka,
Wabawaka,
Ma'aitha,
Ma'aitha,
Wa'aid Iwalam,
Wa'aid I Walam. In English, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
who made heaven and earth.
who made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out,
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out,
and thy coming in,
and thy coming in,
from this time forth,
from this time forward,
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore. With that said, men of Israel, Aquathi and watching, Sar, which means to turn. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters and the class. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. Imajim. Barak. Yahweh Hashem al Shabbat. Yad Matah, which means hands down. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. Imajim. Barak. Yahweh Shema Alatha Hashem. Clap it up. SHALAM. Yad Matah, hands down. Class dismissed.